Good morning. Good morning, Unity community. Welcome to Unity of Charlottesville on this cooler July day. Hopefully we'll get some rain. My name is Peggy Ruth. I will be your celebration assistant this morning. And I am here, of course, with our senior minister, the wise and wonderful Reverend Don Lansky.
Good morning, everybody.
And we'd like to open the service with music. So I will turn things over to the illustrious, talented Blair Jones.
As always, we open with a song that we want you to join in on when we get to the chorus. I think you know this one.
And it's the boys' club this morning.
You might win a battle, you could win a race, outrun your rivals, come in first place. You could lose your center in the push and the shove, or simply surrender and turn into love. Love's not a contest, it's just who we are. Both the light and the shadow are at home in the heart. Beyond the struggle, there's music to play and songs to be singing at the end of the day. Love wins, love wins. All is well in the end. Love wins. Join us. Love wins. Love wins. All is well in the end. Love wins. Love knows no boundaries. It's the light in our eyes, familiar to all, universally prized. There's a world of compassion, and we're good to begin. We could just quit fighting and let love win. Love wins. Love wins. All is well in the end. Love wins. Love wins. Love wins. All is well in the end. Love wins. Let's hear that sweet violin. When we're up against too much to ask, when we lose our resistance at last, and we realize love's got our back, love wins. For everyone, great and small, we are lifted as we fall. Kindness conquers all, love wins. Love wins, love wins, all is well in the end. Love wins, love wins. life begins. Love wins.
Well, good morning, everyone. Welcome to Unity of Charlottesville. Welcome to everybody who's watching online. And Unity is a place that welcomes people of all religions, all faiths, all spiritual traditions, all hair color, all political parties. What did I leave out? All sexual orientation, gender identity. Everyone is welcome here at Unity, and we're a space that welcomes nourishment and really exploration into all spiritual truths and spiritual paths. So we hope you feel welcome here today. And it is our tradition to begin with prayer. So let's just take a moment and take it into prayer that love wins. In the end, ultimately, that love wins. Love wins, that will win in the Ukraine, in the Mideast, in the Sudan, wherever people are struggling with natural disasters and earth changes, where there's poverty and discrimination. We hold a vision that love wins. Love always wins in the end. And I want to invite you, if there's some area in your life this morning that is weighing heavily on you, or some place that you'd just like to give thanks or give gratitude, to visualize that whatever that situation is, that it is the power of love within us, that we can allow to shine forth, to harmonize, to unify, to overcome any challenge through the power of love. And so we claim this in the name and after the nature of the indwelling Christ. And so it is. Amen.
And I invite you to close the meditation by affirming our statement of faith. Together, please. There is only one presence and one power in the universe and in my life.
God the good.
The good.
Omnipotent.
And now one of our favorite songs. We have the opportunity to stand, greet our neighbors with a handshake or a hug, whatever is comfortable.
I'm in the right place at the right time. I am just where I'm supposed to be. I'm in the right place at the right time. I am just where I'm supposed to be. Oh, my soul is welcome here. Oh, my soul is welcome here. I am getting the message loud and clear. My soul is welcome here. I'm in the right place at the right time. I am just where I'm supposed to be. I'm in the right place at the right time. I am just where I'm supposed to be. Oh, my soul is welcome here. Oh, my soul is welcome here. I am getting the message loud and clear. My soul is welcome here. I am getting the message loud and clear. My soul is welcome here.
And now we invite any children that are with us this morning to join Mark Boston, our
That would be
leader
Matt.
of...
Matt, Mark's back right there.
You all have fun in kids' church, and we'll see you in a little bit. Today is a very special day. Our own PMH Atwater has completed her 19th book. Yes. The bookstore has only 20 copies, and she will be, oh, okay, well, you better act fast. PMH will be available in the narthex after the service. If you would like to have her sign your copy, all 20 copies, the proceeds from that come back to Unity of Charlottesville.
You want to come, just say, come up and say, just say a word about it?
Well, we brought an extra 9 from home. Well, this is my story, folks. Everybody says, we know your research, but Ken Ring says, we don't know you. So my story is very different and very unusual. So I invite you to read my story. I had 5 fathers, 2 mothers, and was raised by Norwegians. Figure that one.
Thank you.
Thank you, PMH.
So we have our next HUG meeting next week. That's Help Unity Grow, and that's been an informal conversation with the Board of Trustees and the minister just to talk about anything you want to talk about. So that'll be right after church next Sunday. And I mentioned last week that we are having a Volunteer Appreciation Day. You know, what we did was I asked all the team leaders to give me the names of people who were actively serving on their volunteer teams. There were 70 people that were actively doing stuff at the church. So we were going to just invite, the active volunteers, but then we realized that everybody's doing something. So we should probably just invite everybody. That's what we're doing. So we're in your honor and for all of the support and love that you bring to Unity, the Board of Trustees will be providing you lunch on Sunday, July 23rd. But you do need to register. There's a link on our email, and if you're not getting our email, you need to call the church office and get onto our email list, because the board, they need to know how many people are coming for lunch and also what you're eating. There's so many different diets now, so that would really help us to know kind of what your dietary concerns are. So please come July 23rd for that. And our circulation day, is Rachel here? Do you want to just say a word, or? Yeah.
Good morning, family.
Hi.
Good morning.
So Circulation Day is quickly approaching. We have about 3 weeks. Circulation Day, for those of you who would like to release items that no longer serve you, that can serve our community, it's going to be held July the 29th from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. It's donation only, so whatever the community members feel like they can or are willing to give or donate. The proceeds will go to benefit our youth program, but also for our community garden that we're establishing with Michelle Pike. So if you have some gently used items that you would like to release, please bring those on the 29th. It starts at 10, but if those items can be here at least an hour before, we'll be able to set them up along the table. We are in the need of volunteers. I do have some volunteers who have agreed to help, so I'm going to call some of you out right now. So Rita, Ann, Ellen, John, Buddy, and whoever else, if you guys could just hold on after church for about 10 minutes, I'd like to just have a quick group discussion on some latest updates. But thank you. Contact me if you have any questions.
Great. Thank you so much. And Gary Duden, come on up. Gary, come and say a word about your workshop.
Hello, folks. So July 30th at 1 o'clock, I would like to do a presentation on dowsing for negative energies, which regrettably are with us everywhere we go practically, 24/7. Yes, even sitting here in church. I will explain the causes of these negative energies, some man-made, some naturally occurring in the earth. I will explain how I can block or shunt these negative energies over your home, apartment, condo, trailer. I've done farms, businesses. And I will demonstrate during the talk on that day. I hope you can make it.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks so much. And Jing Griffith is still doing her workshops, her Kundalini workshop. Now, Jing and her family got COVID this week, which is sort of a grim reminder that it's still around, right? So the board still has a policy here that masks are encouraged. Obviously, none of us are taking heed of that, but it's just something to be just a word of caution about. So let's just hold Jing and her family in prayer. But her workshops are still continuing online.
And we are continuing the art displays in the terrace level downstairs. This month, we're featuring Carolyn Daly. She has fabulous work, so please take time after the service today to go down and observe her wonderful, wonderful paintings and artwork. We're so excited about all the talent we have in this community. It's wonderful.
It's wonderful. And if you missed the talent show last night, we saw a lot of that talent. We have dancers and singers and martial artists, and it was just fabulous and timeless, and a lot of talent.
It was fun.
Midweek prayer?
On Wednesday evenings, we have our midweek prayer service. We have a very dedicated group that are on the call most Wednesday nights. We've had dramatic results from the group prayer. So if you have a need, please feel free to submit a request online or call the church office. If you don't want to share your name, that's fine too. God knows what our needs are. But the prayer group prays together for 30 minutes every Wednesday night from 6:30 to 7.
And we have a special presentation today. I'd like to invite Shirley and a guest, Tez, to come up.
I will be happy to introduce Martez Tolbert, who's a representative here from the Fountain Fund. That is the group that the tithing committee has chosen for this quarter's gift from the church. And I don't want to speak any longer because he has a whole lot to say in a short time. So I'll hand it over right now.
Thank you, Shirley. Thank you, Don. Good morning, everybody.
Morning.
My name is Martez Tolbert. Please just call me Tez. I represent the Fountain Fund. I'm the first point of contact and the face of the Fountain Fund. It's a local 501c nonprofit here in our community, right here at Jefferson School. If anybody knows what the Jefferson School is, we're on the second floor. Come check me out. A little bit about the Fountain Fund, where we do access to capital to people that's been formerly incarcerated. We're the only nonprofit in the country that's doing this. And the flagship is right here in our backyards. And yeah, you can clap for that. It's definitely huge. I don't want to take too much time, but you got to understand individuals that come home back in our community, we need to help them. We need to support them and give them the access to capital, to wraparound holistic services, because guess what? They're going to be the individuals serving you. They're going to be the bus drivers. They're going to be your neighbors, guys. So what I like to tell individuals is take a healthy risk, right? We take risk every day, all day, right? Take a healthy risk and try to help individuals, man and woman, build back better in their communities, right? Help them with a job, resources, and the things that they're going to need. So a little bit about the Fountain Fund. That's what we do. It's not about just giving individuals money, but understanding what financial literacy is, right? Understand what mutuality is. Understand what repayment is, right? Because a lot of individuals that come home, kind of like myself, dealing with a lot of unmanageability. I did 3 stints in the DOC, which is Department of Correction, guys. But I wouldn't be here today if nobody gave me that 5th, 6th chance. So that's just when I'm talking about helping individuals build back better. Now I'm a college graduate, graduated UVA a couple years ago, started my own nonprofit doing 2020. Hey, I need to come here every Sunday, Don. But it's not about me, it's about we. And that's why I'm up here, because it's not about me. I had my time, I did my troubles, and I came home. So now it's about helping others build up back in their community and helping them get the access that they need, right? It doesn't have to be always about lending and money, because the individuals come see me. I don't look like a traditional banker or a lender, but I am, right? And I do it at a different type of mutuality and aspect, because we know most bankers, they judge you on your background, credit score, color of your skin, all these different things. With me, not even that. We don't even talk about lending. People come see me, I try to bring the human element back. How you doing today? Did you eat today? Kind of like the church and kind of like anybody that's welcome. And I try to get individuals understand, like, listen, let's have a mutuality. Let's understand what me and you can help build back this community better, help you and your family better, and give you the support you need. Not just lending, but we lend in hope and opportunity at the Fountain Fund. So that's kind of what I do. And I also host something called the One Stop Shop. Check me out at NBC News this Wednesday at 4 o'clock. I'll be doing community conversations about that. I got pamphlets, brochures, some flyers, and cards in the back table. So when you're done, please come check me out. I will be here for the full service. Thank you again for Shirley and Don for having me today. And if you got any questions, I'm here for the rest of the service. You can ask me afterwards. There's only 3 criteria to get a loan through the Fountain Fund, and that's formerly incarcerated, all right? Have the ability to pay the loan back, which is a job or fixed income. And the next is elevation. How is this loan going to elevate you currently in your status? If it's first month's rent housing, we do that. We do education, we do driver's license, we do a number of different things, and we do business loans to help individuals not only understand business, but know generational wealth and how to pass that back down. So we do a lot of innovative, customized things with the Fountain Fund. So if you don't know about it, check us out. We got a Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and we expanded to New Orleans now, Philadelphia, and Richmond. So we're growing and going. So please check us out, check me out. I know I have too much time. Thank you, Don and Shirley, and thank you, Unity Church. Thanks again. Oh, you guys are too much.
So, you know, we have a tithing team here at Unity, and every quarter we donate part of our tithe to a local community organization. And Fountain Fund has been designated this quarter, and I'm really pleased on behalf of the Board of Trustees and to give you this check for over $1,000. So
awesome. Thank you, guys.
Can I get a picture?
Can I get a picture?
Where's our picture? That's a picture. Okay, here's our picture.
Thanks, Jackie.
Okay.
Awesome.
All right, thanks
again, Don.
Thanks so much. Thank you. And if you'd like more information about our tithing team, that's Jackie and Shirley, and it was Lynn Foster. I don't know if she's still on it or not, but see Jackie and Shirley. And Rachel Boston. Great. Thanks so much, you guys.
Well, now I think it's a very appropriate time to affirm our mission statement. Together, please. Unity of Charlottesville empowers everyone to express their unique divinity, making a positive difference in the world. And now it's time to bless our offerings, our tithes, our gifts to Unity of Charlottesville.
I'm afraid it's not.
Okay. Call me out. Now it's time for more song.
We are all seeds in the garden of God's dreams. Red and yellow, black and white, shining like a rainbow in God's light. Light that knows no borderlines. There's beauty everywhere it shines. God bless us all. Oh, I believe we are all one spirit on this spinning ball. God bless us all. Ooh. heart believes that peace becomes reality. I remember to forgive. That's when I remember how to live. Let there be a celebration of all the colors of creation. God bless us all. Oh, I believe we are all one spirit on this spinning ball. God bless us all. God bless us all. Oh, I believe we are all one spirit on this spinning ball. God bless us all. Ooh. We are all seeds in the garden of God's dreams. I forgot Libby.
I was the roadie last night, moving microphones. I think I dropped 3 mics last night. So have you been caught up in the Barbie hype yet? Do you know in a couple of weeks the Barbie movie comes out, and it's being hyped as the summer's biggest blockbuster. So Ralph was driving home one evening, and he realized that he had forgotten that it was his daughter's birthday. So he drove to the mall, and he ran into the toy store, and he asked the shop assistant, "How much is that Barbie in the window?" And in a condescending manner, the sales assistant said, "Well, which one? We have Barbie Goes to the Gym for $19.95, Barbie Goes to the Ball for $19.95, Barbie Goes to the Beach for $19.95, Barbie Goes Nightclubbing for $19.95, and Barbie Gets Divorced for $265. And Ralph said, "Well, why is the Barbie that gets divorced $265 when all the other ones are just $19.95? And the sales lady said, "Well, it's obvious. She gets Ken's house, his boat, his car, and his furniture." All right. That's the end of it. In 2005, there was a magnitude 9 earthquake in Sumatra, Indonesia, that killed 915 people. And a couple of days after that quake, the Charlottesville Daily Progress wrote this. It said, "Spawned by the South Asian earthquake, seismic waves rolling deep within the earth made Virginia water rise and fall by 3 feet. Strong oscillations at the 450-foot deep well near the Round Meadow Country Club in Christiansburg, Western Virginia, started about 1 hour after the magnitude 9 quake struck some 9,600 miles away. Seismic waves traveled through the earth at about 7,400 miles per hour. It took another 5 hours for that sloshing to settle down." So talk about being interconnected. Talk about being in relationship with all beings, all things on the earth. Do you remember seeing the first images of the earth taken from the Apollo spacecraft? Do you remember that? This one was taken in 1972, December 7th, 1972, by the crew of Apollo 17. And this photo, and others like it, are stunning validations of the fact that we are just spinning around, all of us, spinning around floating through space. And the astronauts who are caught up in this experience tell us that from space, there are no national borders. Can't see any. They're non-existent. We make it all up, right? And some have even had mystical and unitive experiences around that. And in fact, that was my very first introduction to unity. My very first time I was in a unity church, I went to hear the astronaut Edgar Mitchell, who was describing his profound mystical experiences that he had as they were circling around the moon and looking back onto the earth. This is Buckminster Fuller. He was an American architect, a systems engineer, a writer, an author, an inventor, a designer, the developer of the geodesic dome. And he coined the phrase spaceship Earth. He was the one. And what he said was, we are not going to be able to operate our spaceship Earth successfully, nor much longer, unless we see it as a whole spaceship and our fate as common. It has to be everybody or nobody. And he said quite clearly, our task is predominantly metaphysical, for it is how to get all humanity to educate itself swiftly enough to generate spontaneous social behaviors that will avoid extinction. So Fuller understood that we are in direct relationship with the universe and with each other, that we are spiritual beings, we are metaphysical beings. And he said, I live on earth at present and I don't know what I am. I know that I am not a category. I am not a thing, a noun. I seem to be a verb, an evolutionary process, an integral function of universe. So how about that when you're feeling blue? Just to imagine yourself as an integral function of universe, right? A verb, a process of evolutionary. So the empathy that we feel for our brothers and sisters who are suffering from war and from oppression, from poverty, from discrimination, from hunger, from incarceration, from natural disasters, show us how related we are. Because when big events happen, like that earthquake in Sumatra, or like so many of the natural disasters and earth-related things that we're seeing around the world that cause so much suffering, or Putin's war in Ukraine, there are all these things happening with increasing frequency. It allows the global community, just for a brief moment of time, too brief probably, to transcend, right? To transcend politics, to transcend religion, just to connect to something that's deep within us as human beings, to demonstrate for us and to us that our relationship to each other and to the earth binds us together. Right? This is a universal unity teaching. I should say it's a unity teaching, and it's also a universal teaching. This is Jeremy Rifkin. He's an economist and professor at the Wharton School, University of Pennsylvania. He's the author of 19 books also on the impact of technological changes on society. And so he talks about a hard path and a soft path towards the future. The hard path is using new technologies to redefine and reconfigure millions of years of evolution, and in a sense to play God. And we already have that capability to manipulate life at its component levels. We can manipulate genes and cells and stem cells and cell lines and organs and tissues and whole organisms. We have the power to do that technologically right now. And this will bring up unprecedented issues of what it means to be human, which just got so much more complicated with the rapid advances in artificial intelligence. You know, this week there was a report on the news that this brand new quantum computer was able to solve a problem that it took the fastest supercomputer 47 years to complete. It did it in just a moment, right? This is just how quickly things are changing. So that's the hard path. The soft path is attempting to better understand the relationship between ourselves and these new technologies so that we can more humbly integrate ourselves into the universe that God has created, that God has given us. So how do we work with, as opposed to against, millions of years of evolution and the ecosystems that support it. And Rifkin says that the soft path represents a more elegant and more intellectually sophisticated and more scientifically advanced approach because it requires a deep understanding of the framework and context of all relationships and choreography that exist in nature. So this means that more than ever, we have to begin to carefully discern what our relationship is to our brothers and sisters, what our relationship is to our fellow species, what our obligations are to the planet, and how we judge the intrinsic value of life and what it means to be human. And this is something that the great master teachers have been teaching us for centuries, for millennia. They knew about all this stuff. So one time during a seminary, Patricia and I went to visit the temple of Garshan Rinpoche. I've talked about this before a little bit. He has a Buddhist temple in Chino Valley, Arizona. And this temple sits high above a mountain, high atop a mountain, with views of hundreds of miles in every direction. So from one direction, you can see the red rocks of Sedona off in the future, in the distance. And from one direction, you can see the San Francisco mountains of Arizona as well. And there were terrible forest fires when we were there at that time. And so Garshan Rinpoche and his monks were in continuous 24-hour, round-the-clock prayer for all of the living beings in the path of the forest fires. Now, they weren't just praying for people and property. They were praying for the birds, for the insects, for the fungi, for the bacteria, for the animals. They were praying for all living beings, praying that for their ongoing souls, and praying that they would have a good rebirth. Such a profound relationship of being in relationship with all beings. It was a wonderful demonstration. And Buddhists call this conditional existence, that everything depends on something else. So a fish needs water to exist. Human beings need air to exist. Everything that exists needs something else to survive and is in relationship to something else. And that's why the Buddhists put so much emphasis on Sangha, which means community, spiritual community. And that's what we're doing right now here at Unity this morning. We're being the Sangha. We're being a spiritual community just by being together. So Woody Allen tells this story. He says a man came to see a psychiatrist, and when the psychiatrist asked him what his problem was, the man said, well, it's my brother. I think he's crazy. And the psychiatrist said, well, why do you think that? And the man said, well, he thinks he's a chicken. The psychiatrist said, that's really strange. Why don't you bring him in? The man said, I can't. And the doctor said, why not? And the man said, because I need the eggs. We're all in relationship, right? We need each other to exist. This guy needed the eggs. So human beings are related in so many ways. Just think of all the roles that you have, all the roles that you play. You know, if I give myself as an example, I'm a husband, a son, a brother, a nephew, a cousin, a member of Unity of Charlottesville, a member of Unity Worldwide Ministries, an American, a child of the universe, a child of God. You know, all of these things. You're all of these things too, and probably many, many more if you think about it. By show of hands, has anyone ever dumped a partner? Come on, fess up. How many of you have ever been dumped by a partner? So many. How many of you have been divorced? How many of you have been divorced more than once? I knew someone who was divorced and married 7 times. 7 times. Can you imagine? I always wondered about this, he said to the minister the last time that he was married. When the minister said, do you? He probably said, I don't know, maybe. I guess, whatever. There was an advertisement in some local paper. It said, wedding dress for sale, worn once by mistake. So, have you noticed that relationships are really one of the best training grounds that we have for being human, right? They really are mirrors for showing us our stuff right in our face, whether we're ready for it or not, right? Relationships stretch us in ways that we may not want to be stretched, in ways that we may not even be ready for, but they're always presenting opportunities for growing and for learning. Relationships are an ongoing process of discovery. As Buckminster Fuller said, we seem to be verbs in an evolutionary process, an integral function of universe. So a panel of women debated on what they thought was the perfect man. And a guy who was, really, really with it. And they could have chosen an athlete or a celebrity or a wealthy tycoon, but after much deliberation, many hours of deliberation, they decided that the perfect man was Mr. Potato Head. There were 4 reasons for this. He's tan, he's cute, he knows how to accessorize, and if he even looks at another woman, they can rearrange his face. So I want to introduce you to a movie. This is a clip from the movie called Shenandoah. Carol, have you seen Shenandoah? The movie starred Jimmy Stewart. It was filmed in 1965, and it takes place at the outset of the Civil War in Winchester, Virginia. And in this clip, a boy has just joined the Confederate Army, and he has asked for Jimmy Stewart's daughter's hand in marriage. And so Jimmy Stewart is trying to explain to him how to understand women. And at the same time, his prospective son-in-law, he's talking to his prospective son-in-law, his daughter is also having a conversation with her sister, the bride, about how to understand a man. Now, just as a disclaimer, this movie was made in the 1960s, about a time period of the 1860s. So we don't need to get upset about stereotypes and generalities, right? And at the same time, maybe we can acknowledge that there is some mystery between the genders. Like the woman who complained, I have a vegan boyfriend. Don't get me wrong, I love him very much, but sometimes he looks at me like I'm just a piece of carrot. So, all right.
It's no easy job, Sam.
Turn it up, please.
Take care of a woman. No, sir. Yeah. They expect things they never asked for. And when they don't get them, they ask you why. Sometimes they don't ask. And they just go ahead and punish you for not doing something you didn't know you were supposed to do in the first place.
What, for instance, sir?
Well, that's a very difficult question to answer, Sam. You're never quite sure. It's just that it's sort of, you might say, relative.
Relative to what, sir?
To how they're feeling at the moment.
And how's that?
You never know.
I don't believe I really understand what you're trying to tell me, sir.
I know. I never understood it myself. I never understood it. It's just one of those things, Sam. It's around, you just don't ever see it. Now, suppose Jenny started to cry one day. You don't know what she's crying about, so you asked her why. Do you follow me, Sam?
Yes, sir.
You ask her, and she won't tell you. And that's when you ask her what it was you did that caused her to cry. She still won't tell you. And that's when you start to get angry. But don't get angry, Sam. She won't tell you why she's crying because she doesn't know. Women are like that, Sam. And it's exasperating. But don't let it make you angry. No. When she gets like that, just walk up and hug her a little bit. Because that's all they really want when they're like that, Sam. A little loving. You understand me, don't you?
No, sir.
You don't.
There's something else you must remember. Husbands like to be alone once in a while. Why? You never know why. But I can always tell when James wants to be alone. A mood comes over him. I can always see it in his eyes before it really gets there. I don't know where the mood comes from or why. But that's when I leave him alone. It seems sometimes things get so thick around a man that he comes to feel that everything is closing in on him. And that's when he wants to be left alone. You understand, don't you? No.
For some reason, they cut out of this clip the best line of all. At one point, Jimmy Stewart asked the boy if he loves his daughter, and the boy says yes. And he says, "That's not good enough. Do you like her?" Well, so how do we successfully navigate through this mystery part of relationships? You know, there's some mystery about it. And there's a passage in the Gospel of Luke, chapter 14, verse 26, where Jesus says, "If anyone comes to me and does not hate his own father and mother and wife and children and brothers and sisters, yes, and even his own life, he cannot be my disciple." Now that is weird, isn't it? Isn't that a weird thing to say? What do you suppose he means? You know, is Jesus really telling us to hate our closest relationships? Well, the Greek word for hate in this text is miseo, which means to love less. And so I think Jesus is telling us not to love our close relationships less. I think he's emphasizing in a very dramatic way what he said in the Gospel of Matthew. He said, "Strive first for the kingdom of God and its righteousness, and all these things will be given to you." In other words, first get into right relationship with the Christ of your being. Get into right relationship with the God of your being. Get into right relationship with yourself. Because God is love, and that is our essential nature as well. It's love. So get in touch with that. Because you can only give from what you have. And if you want to be in the fullness of a relationship, you have to be already in that fullness within yourself. That make sense? I think that clears up the mystery, but doing it is another story, you know. Doing it's another story. Lee Iacocca once asked the legendary Green Bay Packer coach Vince Lombardi what it took to make a winning team. And Lombardi said that you have to start by teaching the fundamentals. A player's got to have the good basics of the game and how to play his position. And then next, you've got to keep him in line. That's the discipline part. They have to play as a team, not as a bunch of individuals, because there's no room for prima donnas. And then he continues, there's a lot of coaches that know the fundamentals, have the discipline, but they still are not a winning team. So why is that? And Lombardi said, well, there's a third ingredient. And the third ingredient is that if you want to play together as a team, you have to care for one another. You have to love one another. He said each player has to be thinking about the next guy and saying to himself, if I don't block that man, Paul is going to get his legs broken. I have to do my job well so that he can do his job well. And that's the difference between mediocrity and greatness. So can you imagine those big, lunky football guys just loving each other as they're on the field? We're all in relationship, whether we know it or not, whether we want to be or not. Relationships with ourselves, relationships with each other, with friends, with coworkers, with pets, with everyone we meet. So this week I was in the bank the other day dropping off the deposits from the church, and the bank teller recognized the deposit bag, because the Unity deposit bag is bright pink with pictures of donuts on it. She didn't recognize me, right? Because that bag had been taken to a different branch. She moved from a different branch, and our former office manager used to take it to that branch. So she didn't recognize me, but she had a relationship with the Unity deposit bag. And because of that relationship, we began talking. We had a lovely conversation. So then we were in relationship as well. Everything is in relationship, everything. We're in relationship all the time, even with the God of our being, even with the Christ of our being, even with higher power, however we conceptualize that, even with the earth. Teilhard de Chardin wrote that the stuff of the universe cannot divide itself, but as a kind of gigantic atom, it forms in its totality the only real indivisible. The farther and more deeply we penetrate into matter, the more we are confounded by the interdependence of its parts. And so the questions are, can we remember to love? Can we remember to be loved, to express love? Can we remember to be authentic, to respect other people, to listen generously? Can we remember to be true to ourselves, be true to our own integrity? Can we remember to be a clear stand for open communication, even to get help when it's needed? And can we remember to put our spiritual principles into action? That's the golden rule. It's found in every spiritual tradition. But as we all know, that message, the message of the golden rule, is often ignored, often distorted throughout millennia, throughout the centuries. There was an item on the news last night that annually there are 25,000 hate crimes that include guns. 25,000. There are way more hate crimes than that, but those are just the ones that include guns. So we forget about the golden rule. So ultimately, it may come down to what Saint-Exupéry said in his classic, The Little Prince, where he said, "It is only with the heart that one can see rightly. What is essential is invisible to the eye." So I want to close with the words of Buckminster Fuller. He was an amazing guy. I think I forgot to say that I had the privilege of meeting him in 1976. Did I say that? No. I was part of a planning team that brought him to Syracuse University to a symposium on science and spirituality. So we got to hang out a little bit. It was quite an amazing experience. But I want to leave him with the final word.
In 1970, we crossed a threshold when, for the first time in history, could be engineeringly demonstrated we can now, with a 10-year design revolution, taking the metals going all into the weaponry, put them in what are called livingry. Within 10 years, we could have all humanity living the highest standard living anybody has ever known on a sustainable basis while phasing out all further use of fossil fuels and atomic energy. I became then the first person in the world to know that now war is obsolete. I'm not talking about reforming humanity. I'm talking about, for the first time in history, it is not true that it has to be you or me. There's a possibility someday we might be able to do so much with so little. We might be able to take care of everybody. So instead of going into politics, I went in development of technology, seeking to produce so much livingry with so few pounds of material, so few urges of energy and seconds of time. We might be able to take care of everybody and prove that the working assumption that had to be you or me is invalid. We now have the capability to take care of everybody, rather the technical capability to do so.
So let's prepare for meditation.
In this moment, in this place, I remember who I am, letting fear and worry fall away from me. I open my eyes to see there is only love. There is only love. Love that heals, love that sets us free. There is only love. When I lose myself, when I feel I've lost my way, when I close my eyes and quiet my mind, I can hear Spirit gently say, there is only love. There is only love. Love that heals, love that sets us free. There is only love. There is only love. There is only love. Love that heals, love that sets us free. There is only love. There is only love.
So as we go deeper into this time of meditation, we remember the words of Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., who said that all life is interrelated. We are all caught in the inescapable network of mutuality, tied in a single garment of destiny. Whatever affects one directly affects all indirectly. We are made to live together because of the interrelated structure of reality. So imagine how that is true in your own life. All of the webs of interconnection that you have with those loved ones, both living and gone from us. Separated by long distances. Even in relationship to those that we are still holding resentments towards or unforgiveness towards, or who are holding unforgiveness towards us, there's still that relationship, still that interconnectedness. So many different ways, so many different roles. And we give great thanks for the blessings of the relationships that are easy and productive and constructive and loving. And we give thanks, or can we give thanks, I should say, to those relationships that are more challenging, where there are still some things to learn, still some ways to grow, still some forgiving to do perhaps, which we do in our own time. And so I invite us to take this affirmation into a prayer time. Today I cease judging, grasping, and resisting that which obstructs the flow of good in my life. And I align with the natural order of the spiritual universe. by kindness, empathy, and a generous heart, I open avenues in myself through which love can enter. And let us take that into the silence. Today I cease judging, grasping, and resisting that which obstructs the flow of my life, the flow of good in my life. And I align with the natural order of the spiritual universe. By kindness, empathy, and a generous heart, I open avenues through which love can enter. Let us take this affirmation with us today and this week, knowing that we are all one, we are all interrelated, and there is only love. Amen. So when it feels comfortable, I invite you to open your eyes.
Now you see why I call him the wise and witty one. Don has a way of just packing in so many wonderful facts and information in his message every Sunday. I don't know how he can research it all in only a week. Thank you. Let's give him a hand. I may go back and listen to the message again just to get all those facts and figures. Well, now it really is our opportunity to share our gifts, tithes, and give back to Unity of Charlottesville. I guess I had my treasurer's hat on earlier thinking about money. But while you're doing that, I'd like to see if there's anyone here this morning for the first time. If so, would you be brave and raise your hand so we can say hi? Yes, well, welcome. We are so glad you are here, and we invite you to come back again. There are many ways to give to Unity of Charlottesville. We can do it this morning by placing our offering in the butterfly net that Marge is coming around with. The easiest way is to text. Number's right up here. Once you set the app up on your phone It's very simple. You just plug in the amount that you would like to give, and it's very, very quick. You can also, of course, mail a check to the office. So let's take our offering statement together up on the screen. Divine love as me blesses and multiplies all that I have, all that I give, and all that I receive.
It is my pleasure to introduce to you and reintroduce a very special guest this morning, directly from his pandemic cocoon. It is Ken Ellis.
Thank you, thank you, thank you. It's been a long time. Wasn't supposed to last that long, you know? So I'm going to be singing a John Denver song for you today, and he once said that he wrote this song for his fans, for the people, so I hope you enjoy it. Perhaps love is like a resting place, a shelter from the storm. It exists to give you comfort. It is there to keep you warm. And in your times of trouble, when you are most alone, the memories of love will bring you home. Perhaps love is like a window, perhaps an open door. It invites you to come closer. It wants to show you more. And even if you lose yourself and don't know what to do, the memory of love will see you through. Oh, love to some is like a cloud, to some is strong as steel. For some a way of living, for some a way to feel. And some say love is holding on, and some say letting go. Some say love is everything, some say they don't know. Perhaps love is like the ocean, full of conflict, full of pain. Like a fire when it's cold outside, thunder when it rains. If I should live forever and all my dreams come true, my memories of love will be of you. Oh, love to some is like a cloud, to some as strong as steel. For some a way of living, for some a way to feel. And some say love is holding on, some say letting go. Some say love is everything, some say they don't know. Perhaps love is like the ocean, full of conflict, full of pain. Like a fire when it's cold outside, thunder when it rains. If I should live forever and all my dreams come true, my memories of love will be of you. My memories of love will be of you.
Thank you. Thank you, Ken and Blair. It's beautiful. Thank you. And we want to just bless our love offerings and know that they go to do the work of this ministry, spread out in this community with love. And we thank you, all the generous donors, and may you be blessed. And we claim that you are blessed. Amen. So, Mark, do you guys want to come up or no?
We are walking as the light of God. 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 We are walking, walking, we are walking, walking, we are walking as the light of God.
Light of God.
We are walking, walking, we are walking, walking, we are walking as the light of God.
Well, happy Sunday, everyone. My friend Matthew and I had a great time hanging out this morning. Yeah. Matthew, would you like to describe how you spent your morning today?
Well, I read this book here.
What's it called?
Oh, the places you'll go.
And what did we do after we read that book?
We walked the labyrinth.
And is there anything specific that you learned today that you want to describe? What did you get from the story? What did you think? What did you learn today?
Well,
That you keep trying and trying,
yep.
no matter what?
You keep trying and trying no matter what.
That's right. Amen. So it was just Mark and Matthew mighty today. We were mighty today, weren't we, Matthew? Exactly. So, well, let's bless Matthew and for all the young folks who are not present with us today. Children, Uniteens, YOUers, teachers, and parents, you are loved, special, and important. Amen.
Thanks, Mark. Thank you, Matt. So we just want to thank everybody for who's helping out this morning. We have Greg and Amy up in the sound booth. We have the Chuds on our blessing team and Marge on our blessing team. And the Healing Helpers will be here in this corner. PMH will be back here with her book signing. And so if you would like to purchase one of PMH's books, go into the bookstore, purchase your book, and then she'll be at the table right across from the bookstore to sign. And Buddy is here for individual prayers if you have some prayers. And I want to thank our incredible Blair and music team. Thank you all, Ty and Jim and Blue and Stevie and John and Kevin. John's beautiful solo. Thank you so much. Let's give him a hand. Yeah, let's give everybody a hand. Yes, and our special guest, Ken Ellis. Thank you so much, Ken. And Tez, thank you for coming this morning. Appreciate it. All right. And thank you so much. Thank you, Peggy, for being CA.
We also want to remind you that we do have pastoral care here at Unity of Charlottesville. So if you have someone who is in need of help, transportation to a doctor's office, something like that, please don't hesitate to reach out to the church office, and we'll see what we can do to assist.
And next week we'll be talking about hair today, gone tomorrow. That is the story of Samson. So let's stand for our prayer for protection. Together, the light of God surrounds us, the love of God enfolds us, the power of God protects us, the presence of God watches over us. Wherever we are, God is, and wherever God is, all is well.
Let there be peace on earth, and let it begin with me. Let there be peace on earth, the peace that was meant to be. With God as Creator, united
relationship by being the love that you are. Have a great day.
Turn to Perhaps Love. Turn to Perhaps Love. Let's play it instrumentally, okay?
Wait, what song?
Perhaps the one we didn't play.
Good.
Oh, I don't have it.
Someone told me